Moving on to the next one, also a sugar producer. This is Tongaat-Hulett. Slightly more complicated business because it's got four main divisions. Sugar, of course, here in this country, and also in Zambia and Mozambique. Starch, right? That's like that African products business. They produce stuff there. And glucose as well. I believe some of those maize-related products also go into the beer industry. SAB Miller is a big customer. Then property development. This is because they've got all that cane land, which turned out to be close to the Durban metropole. And over the years, they've developed things like the Zimbali estate, Mount Edgecombe, and from time to time, when Durban feels like expanding, these are the guys they've got to talk to. Price to earnings ratio of 12, dividend yield of 3.6, market cap of 12.6 billion. So Gary, give me your overall sense of Peter Stardy's company, Tongaat. How do you feel about this?
Generally a little bit better than Illovo. I mean, I ran them both through our quant ranking models, which ranks on momentum and value. And no surprises, neither of them really came out with massive momentum. So I mean, it's you can see from the chart, the momentum's probably not there. The earnings as well have been under pressure. But as a value play, Tongaat actually comes out. I mean, when you rank it against, are they going to be able to grow earnings? How are their cash flows looking? All the sort of fundamental metrics. I mean, they come out seven out of the entire market. So that's
over
looking
300 companies.
Yeah, over 300 companies. So it's looking at it as a pure value play. I mean, it's got a fairly low PE when you're looking at a market that's trading, PE of a plus 20. I mean, you might find value in something like this. I mean, like I said, I mean, it's facing while it it is differentiated slightly from Illovo because they've, like you say, you've got the property development. But I think that's revenue-wise, I think that's about $1 billion only. So it's whereas the sugar portion is probably around I think it's about 9.5 billion. So it's the sugar is still going to be the major concern for me around the sugar market in general. That oversupply still hanging over Tongaat a little bit. That makes me a little bit nervous to say this is a great value play. Let's go and buy it. But the numbers speak for themselves. I mean, looking at their metrics, I mean, it's being rated very highly as a value play.
Well, let's just talk about the sectoral focus on sugar there, because I think round about there where it moves higher, that's when Zimbabwe looked like it was getting its act together, their dollarization and things were looking better. Perhaps that's a little earlier. They put a lot of money into that Hippo Valley property in the Eastern Highlands somewhere in Zimbabwe. And then Mozambique also, those major sugar plantations, Shinavane up sort of halfway up Mozambique. However, in the last 6 months, we've got Zimbabwe making worrisome noises about a land grab there, or at least a company grab. They had previously thought that because they had employed so many kind of peasant farmers to supply their mills that they'd be okay, but that doesn't seem to be the case. And then Mozambique. I mean, Mozambique was looking fabulous on almost all fronts, but now, Renamo, the guy went into the mountains. They're taking shots at convoys that move up the national highway. I don't know. I mean, it's perhaps being a bit mischievous to say that Mozambique is going off the rails, because it certainly looks like the current government, Frelimo, still has a good handle on things. But having gone from what appeared to be the best two development countries, it now looks a little bit shoddy. Is that possibly the reason for the share price moving sideways, or is it more the sugar?
Personally, I think it's probably more the commodity demand. I mean, we've looked into the political situation in Mozambique quite extensively because, while Tongaat and Illovo aren't really our focus, I mean, we are focusing a lot on Africa.
What, you all have hotels and beach places on the Mozambique coast?
I wish. Maybe if I bought Tongaat and held it for 5 years, we could buy some. But
so you think?
I mean, we're looking at it more in the context of Grindrod and that. And we think that the political situation, well, as you say, there's a few ructions. We think it's going to stabilize, and it is a little bit overblown. Indigenization in Zimbabwe is always a concern. It's been a concern, but I also think it's, like you say, while there has been a flare-up, I think it's a well understood concern.
And Xavier Kasukawere did get booted into some other ministry, right? So that's a plus, because he was the one who was driving around in his black Mercedes causing most of the trouble. So for the moment, I don't know. So to come full circle, what about the land activities? I mean, it does seem that in recent months there have been some accelerated sales there, right? It looks as though the Durban metropole is starting to grow again.
Yeah, like I say, I mean, looking at that, I mean, I'm discounting that a little bit just because it is a smaller portion of the business. I mean, looking at analyst forecasts on that, I think, they've got their property business to grow at about, it's about -5% to -6%. So I'm not overly excited about that the development business is going to pull Tongaat suddenly, right? I think it's going to be it's going to be its core competency. It's going to be the sugar businesses that do it.
So all of that taken into account, all of that long waffle from both of us, is this one hot or not?
I'm going to go hot just purely because of the metrics. I memean, it's not really a story there, but
your measure.
But the numbers look good on the company.
Okay,
so
good.
I'll go hot.
You can have hot. I'll go not hot.